Cool. And we are live again. Transformers are Us Nation. It's your old buddy Wade. Got my special guest, Meatball. I'm not going to call him Meatball all night long. I call him Meatball when we're not face to face and especially behind his back, but never to
Yeah,
his
man.
face. So we'll just refer to him as Mr. Chris tonight. So, Chris, how in the world are you, man? What have you been up to? We've had a couple lives. We've had the boys on, Aiden, Bots and Cats, Wolf, Alex, but you have been just glaringly missing from our lives. So, what have you been up to? What's been keeping you away from obviously the most important thing in our life, which is Instagram Live and YouTube Live? So fill us in.
Absolutely.
Where you been?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me in, man. It's been a minute. Yeah, man. Life. Lately, it's the holiday season, so it's around our house. There's a lot of decorating that goes on inside. You know, that's the wife's department. Outside, that's my department. And I hate to admit, but still got at least probably another half day to go.
So so are you like full on decorating for Christmas, or are you just, I mean, what's going on here?
Yeah, man, totally full on decorating. Not quite not like a Clark Griswold level or anything like that. Like I'm not like making power stations wondering what's going on or anything. But I mean, it definitely. I have a pretty good display that I put up, including an authentic leg lamp. Oh yes. If you know anything about Christmas Story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's proudly displayed in the front window, and it is one of my prized possessions.
So you have a full scale leg lamp in your house lit up for Christmas. And that's
That's
like
right.
your, that's, I mean,
That's
that's
right.
like your pride and joy. That's, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I love that movie growing up. Uh, and yeah, man, it 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 was a very big surprise for me last year. It was like Christmas gift for my family. My kids delivered it just like on a hand truck. Had me sign a clipboard and everything, just like in the movie. My son even made a crate that says "fragile" on it because it's Italian. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was great, man. I got to experience the whole thing, even recite some lines from the movie, as nerdy as that sounds.
So was this set up by like someone in your house because they know of your love, or how did all this start? Because obviously it took a lot of thought for someone to actually crate this thing up, deliver it to your house, and all that. So just kind of explain the process. Were you in on it? Was it a complete surprise? What
It,
what's
it
going
was,
on with this leg lamp?
oh yeah, man, totally complete surprise. Uh, the both my boys and my wife, and my in laws, they all worked together on it, and they lured me over to my in laws' house, and then Uh, didn't even realize because they got me all. I'm Sicilian. Doesn't take a whole lot to get me talking. If anybody knows me, knows that. Uh, and so they got me stuck in a conversation. And next thing I know, there's a ring at the front door, and my mother in law says, "Oh, that must be that whatever. They're delivering it on the truck." And I was just like, "Oh," because she knows that what I'm going to do. I'm going to be like, "Oh, wait, you got something to move? I'll go get it for you." So I walked, open up the front door, and there's my kids standing there with the crate on a hand truck, and they wheel it on in, and I'm just sitting there, just jaw on the floor, like, what is going on? I see the fragile on the top, and then I get handed the clipboard. I'm sitting there like stunned, signing it and everything, and then yeah, I did my best to recite as many lines as I possibly could in the appropriate order. Uh, which, yes, yes, it was awesome, man. I mean, hay in there. My son did an amazing job on the crate. I mean, I have it. I still have it. It's I use it for storage. But yeah,
So
man.
when did this love of the movie A Christmas Story happen? Was it something? I mean, you and I are pretty close in age. That movie came out what year? Do you remember?
Oh
That was
man,
what,
I
like
want to say
late
that was like
80s?
yeah. I want to say it was like the like 80 mid 80s maybe. Like oh man, like
Yeah.
maybe
So
85
is
or
it
86.
something that you grew up watching, or is it just something you discovered recently and now it's just a holiday staple? Or
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I grew up on it. It was, it was one of those, the the holiday season comes around. How it was back in our day. I mean, what came on, it was always Frosty the Snowman. It was the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer claymation. And then they had
yeah,
every so often they'd have the Jack Frost claymation one. Santa Claus is coming to town, and then Christmas Story, and then eventually, like later on in life, Home Alone and stuff that came out, and then somewhere at some point somebody added Die Hard in there at some point. I don't know, but
yeah. Well, Die Hard is obviously a Christmas movie. I mean,
it is. I mean, it takes place
it,
at Christmas. I
you,
mean, what you can't
you
get
can
away from it,
hate all you want to, right? But when the
right?
elevator opens and the bad guy has ho 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 on his sweater, it's a Christmas movie. It,
Nothing,
yeah, it will
nothing.
for always be a Christmas movie.
Yeah, especially that scene, the ho ho ho. Yeah, that there's nothing that brings the warm holiday cheer more than that exact scene. But yeah, man,
I'm
Christmas
actually going
Story
to
was
get
all.
that shirt, that Nakatomi Plaza Christmas
Yes,
party sweater. I'm going to get one day. I haven't yet, but I'm going to get one of those one day
yeah, man.
cuz yeah,
I want
that's
to
the
get one that
classic.
just says "Yippee Ki Yay," and then and then because somebody will read it, and then just right off in their mind they're gonna finish it off, right?
Yeah, they're just going to finish it without even
Yep,
thinking. Yeah. And hopefully
yep.
they do it audibly so you get the
Ooh,
shock from everybody like, what? Where? Just out of left field. Yeah. Yeah, I
that's
got
right. That's right.
you.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. That would totally be the way, man, for sure. But yeah, the
Cool.
Red Ryder BB gun, man. I never had a BB gun growing up, and I always wanted a BB gun. And that whole movie was based about the Christmas story is all about getting a freaking BB gun, man. And yeah,
Yep.
for
You'll
some
shoot
reason,
your eye out, kid. Yeah.
he'll shoot your eye out. Yeah, man. Dude, oh man, don't even give me. Oh man, I almost started quoting all sorts of lines.
So
I'll
so
control
it's
myself.
interesting. So one of the more famous scenes in that movie, the kid puts his tongue on the flagpole
Oh
and
yes,
it gets stuck, right?
yes.
So I actually read how they made that stunt work. So have you ever read into that, how they actually made that scene work?
I I I thought I heard something about it a long time ago, but please refresh my memory because I do not recall.
Yeah, so what they did is they actually drilled a hole in that flagpole, obviously where the cameras couldn't see it, and they hooked up a suction cup or a
Ah,
suction
yeah.
tube to that. So when he put his tongue to it, it actually, by way of suction, stuck his tongue to it, and then he pulled back as far as he possibly could. But
That.
for the longest time, I thought that that was real because that stuff, I mean, I don't go around licking stuff at Christmas time,
Oh yeah.
but that's feasible that that would happen. So it
Oh
it was
yeah.
just kind of cool to find out that, hey, they did that. It wasn't CGI, which CGI wasn't a big thing back then anyway, but they
Yeah.
actually had, it was a practical effect. So I always thought that that was pretty cool. So
Yeah. I mean, I think at best maybe they had like an Apple IIe at the most at that point in time. Like a.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it was definitely not capable of pulling off any kind of CGI at that point. But no, that's
No,
cool though.
no.
No, dude, I love those kind of like practical effects like that. Well, like in what was that? The Wizard of Oz, like the original Wizard of Oz. Like so many people ended up getting like cancer because there's the snow is asbestos.
Yep.
Sprinkling straight up asbestos, and then
Yep.
the poor lady who the Wicked Witch of the West who had the green paint on her face. It was green because it had a bunch of what I think it was copper or something in it, and so she ended up getting some kind of poison, or is it mercury that I don't know. It was some kind of metal that was not good for you to be having on your skin, and it was
Yeah.
like yeah, she, I mean, like, it stained her skin.
Yeah. Well, if you read like the footnotes to that movie, like the Tin Man had all kinds of issues after filming was completed. I mean, he
Yeah,
had the paint that they used was like lead based, like everything
right.
that is harmful for you now, it was in that movie and totally because that's the way it was. So yeah,
Yeah. Oh man.
that's just nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and nobody escaped it. I mean, like at some point, like all the main actors were in that were being sprinkled on by with asbestos, and then yeah, the it seemed, I don't even know, man. I mean, even like the Cowardly Lion had some paint. I mean, who knows? That was probably made from like I don't know, some kind of radioactive dust from Chernobyl or something. I have
Yeah.
no idea,
Yep.
dude.
Yep.
Oh, I guess it didn't quite
There's
happen like
actually a
that. But
rumor there's actually a really dark rumor that follows the original Wizard of Oz, and the legend is, and I'm probably misquoting it because I'm not pulling it up right now, but there's a background scene in which it shows a bunch of people, and it's a matte painting if you know
okay,
anything about movie production. So when they
yeah,
have to show something like far off in the distance, they'll usually just put a matte painting up there. But the legend is in one of those scenes in the very back, you can see a bunch of people in the background, but a person actually hung themselves while the camera was rolling and it actually made it into the movie. Now it's been debunked. You know, you can go to Snopes and see if it's fact or fiction or satire or whatever. But yeah, for the longest time, people actually thought that movie was cursed because in one of the scenes, it looks as if someone is hanging by a noose
that's
and
creepy.
just totally just lifeless. It's crazy. Now I haven't
It,
watched Wizard of Oz in probably 30 years, so I couldn't
man,
tell you which scene. I can't even tell you where it is. But
that's
it's
some
just
darkness right there, man. That's some dark
yeah,
stuff right there,
it
dude.
is. It
Man,
is.
I mean, because
So
I always heard like like the Wizard of Oz, like the second roar, you start a Pink Floyd, the Dark Side of the Moon, but like I've never heard of the somebody hanging themselves. Man, that's pretty gnarly, dude.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was one of the old urban legends. So and before we
Wow.
go any farther, anybody that's out here watching us on YouTube, we are taking comments. So comments are on. We're able to see them, or I'm able to see them, or whatever. So if you guys have some comments or some insight on anything we're talking about, start typing away, man, because we would love for some viewer comments just to either add to, take away, or just argue with us. We don't care. It's way
Yeah.
past my bedtime. It's 2 o'clock for me. It's like 7 in the morning for Chris. So yeah, I'm wired up and just ready for some comments.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
but
Anybody out there has any other kind of like movie like behind the scenes, like some movie lore? Yeah, man. Spill that stuff, dude.
yeah,
That's always neat.
and I'll tell you one thing about me. So I've got the IMDb app on my cell phone, right?
Oh,
And
okay.
if I'm watching a movie and I see something interesting, Um, yeah, so we got Avatar. Avatar is asking what's popping. Wizard of Oz. Um, yeah, Avatar. That's actually what we're talking about. We're talking about any and everything tonight. We don't really
Yeah.
care.
What's
So
up, Avatar?
Carlos
All right.
DLR asked what was up. Yeah,
Carlos.
we're fine.
All right.
And no, guys, this is not on Instagram. This is strictly YouTube. So yeah, you might want to pop over to Instagram, tell everybody that's on there to hey, check us out on YouTube. That's where we're at. Fill up the comment section, and we'll roll with whatever you guys have because we do not have a script. Um, so Avatar actually said he heard about the lore about the hanging on set thing. I was
Oh,
asking if that's what you guys were talking about. Yes, it is. So
yeah. That's
Avatar,
creepy,
yeah,
man.
you're dead on it. But
Ah,
yeah, so
that's brutes.
anyway, I've got the IMDb app. So when I'm watching a movie, if I see something or if I've seen it the movie a couple of times, I'll actually pull up IMDb and you can scroll all the way to the bottom to get to the trivia. And
Oh,
that tells you just all kinds of inside information that you would never. That's how I found out about how they did the practical effect with the guy's tongue on the flagpole in the Christmas story. So
oh, okay. All right.
but yeah, that's all through IMDb, and it's just yeah, I am a well of useless knowledge. So
Okay.
if I get interested in something, I usually start going down any and every rabbit hole I can find, and until my curiosity is satisfied. So yeah,
Well, you
it's
know, something else I remember. Actually, I just very recently learned this on about the original Wizard of Oz. Not a dark thing, but I thought it was pretty neat. So in the very beginning of the movie, it's like black and white, but it's more like that sepia kind of like black and white, that kind of like
the
orangish, reddish tones, kind of.
the
Well, they filmed the part with uh, after everything, and Judy Garland's walking towards the door before she opens up the door to look see the land of Oz. Well, everything at that point is still sepia. As she walks past the camera, she walks out of the shot, and then the next shot shows a little girl, supposedly her, running up to the door, and then opens up the door, and then as the door swings open, all of a sudden it's just the bright colors of the Wizard of Oz. Well, the way that they did that is they painted everything on the one side of the door, including the girl, the body double, or her double that ran up to the door. They painted her and everything in the room that sepia color, so that when they opened up the door, the vivid colors on the other side of that door, plus the Judy Garland being in her actual normal clothing, walking into the colored light, all of a sudden it went from like black and white transition to that color, which was I thought pretty cool because I mean that like I I remember seeing that as a kid, and I always kind of wondered like, dang, how do they do that transition from like black and white to color like that? That's what it was. It was a practice. It was one of those practical uh, 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 movie tricks. You know, I thought that was pretty neat.
that's yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Not
So let's
nearly as
see.
cool as the hanging in the background thing. I mean, that's freaking metal as hell.
I'm
So, but
actually looking it up now to see if I can find. Um, yeah, let's see. During the haunted forest scene, several actors playing the winged monkeys were injured when the piano wires suspending them snapped, dropping them several feet to the floor on the soundstage. So that's kind of crazy. I mean,
golly, man. Oh, dude.
yeah.
So, hey, man, that means
Let's see.
somebody went to what would have been the Dollar Tree back then and hooked up with
Yeah,
the cheapest piano wire they could find, and then they put old Buzz, Gus, and Jeff up there, and all three of them did face plant. That sucks. Yeah,
yeah.
man.
All right, so here's an interesting tidbit, and I'll put it to you first. So the
Right?
lead Munchkin, his name was Jerry Marin, right? So obviously a little guy, right? And
Okay.
he played the lead Munchkin. So anytime Munchkins were in scene, he was part of it because he was the lead Munchkin. And
Okay.
then you also had Toto the dog,
Yes.
right? Well, you
Yes.
have to pay everyone. What do you think? Oh, let's see. All right, so both Jerry Marin, the lead Munchkin, and Toto were on set for 6 full weeks.
Okay.
What do you think Jerry made as the lead Munchkin, and what do you think Toto was paid to be a dog per week?
Per week.
Per week. What do you think each of them made per
Well,
week? And if
I,
anybody on YouTube knows in the comments, fill them up. Take a guess.
I mean, I'm not so sure on. I'm not very good on my history and all, and the dates and whatnot. But I'm thinking that probably
Well,
Jerry
this
got
was in
paid. It,
1939. So
so that's that. Yeah, that's before McDonald's. I was gonna say he probably got like a book of McDonald's bucks, and then like the dog got like some filet mignon or something. Yeah.
it's
Then,
actually
but
got the monetary value. So yeah,
oh,
what do you
all
think the
right.
lead Munchkin made per week, and what do you think Toto made per week
I'm gonna
for six
say
weeks being on set?
I'm gonna say per week. I'm gonna say Jerry made $1,000, and then the dog probably made like $1,010.
Okay. Is there anybody on YouTube that's listening to us now? Do you guys have any guesses? Just throw it up in the comments if you have any guesses, and then we'll reveal the answers. But
I
it's
mean,
quite surprising, and I would think somewhat insulting.
well, okay. Let me think
Especially
about this. This is 1930s. Let me drop a zero off of each one of those.
1939, so
Yeah,
you could go to the store with a quarter, get a bag of groceries, a gallon of milk,
yeah.
and, come home with 20 cents still in your pocket.
Thousand,
So,
yeah, $1,000 a week for 6 weeks. You could have bought the country. No, I'm
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
maybe like
exactly.
I'm thinking maybe I should maybe drop a zero off that. Maybe it'd be like old Jerry got like $100, and old Toto got $110, but still got filet mignon.
Yeah, Carlos DLR in the comments said 25. So you guys were close. So Jerry Marin, the lead Munchkin in The Wizard of Oz, was paid $50 a week for his entire 6 weeks on set. So he basically
Entire.
came home 300 bucks is what he made to be lead Munchkin in The Wizard of Oz in 1939.
And get rained on by
Three,
it with asbestos and painted with mercury.
yeah, yeah, 300
Yeah.
bucks. Now Toto, the dog, made $125 a week for 6 weeks. So he was paid two and a half times what a speaking, singing, dancing part was paid just for being a trained dog. So $50 for the actor and $125 per week for the dog.
So
That
if Jerry was just a little bit smaller, he could have just
yeah,
acted like a dog and got paid double. Is what you're saying,
yeah,
and not say these parts. He just had to go bark bark and
yeah,
like
exactly.
run over here and like lift sit when he was told, and he could have got paid double. Man, Jerry,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, brother. I don't know. Hey, man, 1939. Probably imagine you're probably gone by now. So rest in peace. Thank you for your work. But man, you got screwed. Man, Toto didn't even act that well, dude. Dude, I bet you $10 Toto
No,
pooped.
no.
Dude, I bet you Toto pooped on somebody or peed on somebody when he wasn't supposed to, and Jerry didn't do that
Yeah,
once.
they definitely had way more problems with the dog than they did the lead
Yeah,
munchkin. I can almost
yeah,
guarantee you.
yeah. That's ridiculous, man. Yeah, Jerry. Oh man,
Oh,
I bet Jerry's estate, and his like his whole family and everything, all of his relatives that are alive to this day. That's probably a really like sore subject for them. I would think. They're like, anytime they watch that movie, they're like, "Hey, man, to hell with Toto, dude. Freaking bit Jerry, pissed on him, and got paid double as much."
yeah.
Man,
So let's see.
this is before Weinstein, dude. So you know that dog didn't even have to do anything gnarly, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's see here. See if I can
It's
find some
like,
more interesting facts here. Yeah, Avatar, I agree. That's straight up robbery. Yeah, it
yeah.
was ridiculous.
Well, and okay.
Oh, let's
So I'm
see.
wondering, did that dude? Because I'm on my phone, so I can't really look it up. But did Jerry go move on? Because that'd be around the same time that, or close to around the time that Willy Wonka was filmed. Well, or Willy Wonka was more like
Yeah,
in the '60s, right? Yeah, they're in the
yeah,
'60s.
yeah, yeah. Late 70s, I believe.
Oh, maybe it could have been one of like the senior like Oompa Loompas or something. I don't know, man. But maybe if that's the case, maybe Jerry got his bag with with his next role. So he ended up landing a role in that Willy Wonka. I mean, Macklemore has a whole song about Willy Wonka and how rich he is.
Well, let's see. So they had,
Nothing. All right. Oh, snap! I gotta hook my phone up to a charger. Let's see. I have to switch positions here. Let's see. Yay! Everybody, come with me as I shift around in my blanket. Oh, turn my PlayStation on. That's not what I want to do. All right. I just saw my phone show me something red out of the corner of my eye, and I look up. I'm like, oh, that's my phone in like single digits. I should probably do something.
yeah, Avatar. I'm right there with you. Avatar mentioned that he might get flamed for this, but he hasn't seen a lot of movies that everyone should have seen already. Like I said, I saw Wizard of Oz back when I was, 7 or 8 years old. I've not
Oh,
seen it since then. I'm not up on the movie. I can't tell you exactly what happens. So yeah, and really have no reason to revisit it. So it's not going to be on my playlist anytime soon.
no. I mean, I'll be honest with you, man. I have no desire. I'm not even looking to go see Wicked. You know what I mean? Like,
No, no, no. Yeah,
yeah,
I could care less about any of that. So,
nah.
um, all right. So we'll get off that subject because that's a little too much reading for me this late at night.
Yeah,
Um, let's go to something a little more familiar and kind of what the channel is geared for. Talk about Transformers a little bit. So, um, I guess let's start with you, Chris. What was your first Transformer? Do you even remember or
I do. I do. I remember. Okay, do you, so my first bot or my first Transformer?
either or? Because I mean, I started out with GoBots before I got
Yep,
Transformers, but
that's
yeah.
right. I had the gateway. I had the gateway drug known
Yeah, that,
as
that
GoBot.
plastic crack, man.
I don't know, man. Those things are pretty tough, dude. You ever take a GoBot, man? Those. Hey, I hucked one at my sister. I I split her I split her eyebrow open. That I had to get she got a couple of stitches. I lost that GoBot plus anything else. Most of my other toys at that point in time, at least for a while on those. I lost that one particular that GoBot. I was forced to walk over and throw it into the garbage myself. But you know, it was oh, what was it? Oh, the space shuttle. It was the space shuttle. The white space shuttle, which I think
Yep,
like like flipped his arms out, and I think that was about it. I mean, there was really nothing to him.
yep.
But that thing made an incredible projectile, and that thing I had apparently
It's
had some
just the
pretty
right shape for throwing.
oh man, that thing, dude, I'm pretty sure that thing actually like leveled out and actually like was like flying nice and flat. Just bow right into that eye, dude. Skipped right over the top of her glasses and got that thing. I tell you what, man, I never got my butt smacked so hard in my life. Oh yeah, dude. Anyway, I digress. My first actual bot would have been was Psykill for the evil the bad
Oh
guy
yeah, the evil GoBot leader Psykill. That's one that I
Psykill.
always wanted. Now I had Leader One in
Okay,
GoBot, but I was
I never had
never
him.
able to get Psykill.
Ah, dude, I always wanted leader one because it's a jet. I mean,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah,
but yeah, well, yeah, I had Psycho and a couple of other ones just because especially my grandparents, they didn't know much of the difference between there's a difference between GoBots and Transformers, and so they're
yeah.
just like, oh look, this thing is a vehicle that transforms into a robot. That must be a Transformer. No, that's a GoBot. But I also did receive like some completely no namers that way too. I'm like, dude, these things are made out of like bubblegum wrappers, dude. What are these things?
Yep.
These are not even GoBots. These are nothing, dude. But yeah, that was my first. That was my jump off, and then my first Transformer. Uh, oh, he was one of those one of the flip guys. Twin screws or was it? He
Twin
was he
twist.
was one. Was that?
Twin twist.
Twin twist, yes. He
Yep.
he'd bump and he'd flip over onto his feet. Like yeah, which that was about a 50% chance he'd actually land it proper. But
Yep.
yeah, man.
Yep.
Oh no, I guess I
I
take it
actually
back. It
still
wasn't that.
have that original G. It's not G1, that's actually a G2 bot, but I actually still have that same bot now. It's in a kind of a catch-all box of
Okay.
broken and Transformers or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I actually have Twin Twist and Weird Wolf.
Weird Wolf. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah, I know. I think the first couple of like Transformers I ever had, they came from my aunt because my aunt realized that I was wanting Transformers and not GoBots. My grandparents hadn't quite
Yep.
caught that yet, so
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
received my first few bots from my grandparents were GoBots, which that's fine. I thought I still had fun, had a great time with them. But then when I saw like actual Transformers, I'm just like, what the hell are these things? Get the hell out of here.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? I'm like, whoa, that's a semi
So
truck? That's a semi truck that transforms? Oh,
Avatar
yeah.
commented, he says, not gonna lie, I don't remember my first Transformer at all. I want to say it was Bumblebee because he was my
Ooh,
favorite as well as my mom's. Got introduced to Transformers by Bayverse. So yeah, that's that. And then he said my first Transformer as an adult when I started collecting was a three-way between 86 Ironhide, Studio Series Galvatron, and 86 or Studio Series 86 Sludge. So that's
okay.
actually not too bad as far as
Ah,
the adult. And then Carlos DLR said that his first Transformer was Sideswipe. So
aha,
that's
yes.
pretty cool. I think most everybody knows by now. I've brought it up a couple times, but my very first Transformer was Thrust. And
Yeah, that's
I mean,
nice.
I kind of when I picked him out, they had several on the shelf, but Thrust, I know they had Starscream, they had Thundercracker, Dirge, and Ramjet, but I picked Thrust specifically because he looked completely different than everyone else. He had fans in his wings. He looked way better in the box than everybody else did. So I ended up getting Thrust.
Dude,
But
that's
yeah,
awesome.
it was that was my first, and then I probably got some for Christmas. My first Transformer I ever got for Christmas was actually Skylinks.
Mm.
And growing up on a dirt road and taking them out to play, they did not last very long at all because Skylinks, you could transform the or put them together and transform them, and if you had Skylinks in shuttle mode, the links under him was the moving pad or whatever. So
Right.
it actually rolled. It had wheels, it was motorized, put batteries in it, and it would roll. Um, and then if you transformed Lynx into the Lynx, he would actually walk, like really,
Ah.
really slow walk or whatever. But yeah, once he made it out to the dirt road into the yard where I was having all my Transformer battles, good versus evil,
Yeah.
Skylinks didn't last very long because dirt and small motors just don't mix. So
Yep.
after a while there, Skylinks no longer walked. And when he did walk, you heard a very loud crunching noise like so yeah, it
Sounds like
was
me now.
they didn't last very long at all. So
Wow, man, that's a bummer, dude.
yeah.
That's a bummer, man.
So, out
I
of
had
all the bots you've got now, and I know you have quite a few because I've sent probably half my collection to you. What is one bot, I guess, that you've always wanted but never acquired or don't have? What is the one bot that's on your wish list?
oh
He's either so rare you can't find it, or he's just so expensive that you really just don't feel like paying that much for it. So,
well, I am uh it goes back to um one of my old time favorite, my most one of the best Christmases I ever had as a kid. Like I didn't get much that year. I got like some socks and whatever else. Everybody else is opening up, like, this, that, and the other, They're just all kind of like smaller things. But dude, there was just one box, one big ass box that was sitting back there at the back of the tree. Turned out to be mine. I'm just like, all right. Open that puppy up. Omega Supreme, dude. Oh,
what?
dude, it was Omega Supreme. Dude, if I could have done a backflip at that point in time, I still can't. But if I could have done a backflip, I would have totally been doing backflip. Oh man, I was on cloud nine, dude. I was so excited. I got home and I was putting that thing together, and something or other happened. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but something happened, and the claw broke. One
Oh,
of his claws
man.
broke. Like his big orange, yeah, dude. And so went to go take it back. Now this is like the day or two after like Christmas. None, zero, none on the shelf, dude. Omega Supreme was gone. I ended up having,
Jeez.
dude. I ended up getting a gift, like the a gift certificate, because they have gift cards back then, right? I
Yeah.
got a gift certificate for the equal amount, and I ended up getting some lame ass, like what, like tethered RC vehicle. It was like some cool, like old school, like rat rod kind of looking thing, and it had like smoke that came out. Screw that thing, dude. I barely even remember that thing, dude. Omega Supreme, dude. That is my unicorn still to this day, dude.
Gee.
Omega Supreme. That's it. That's it. Sorry for the long story, but that's it.
No,
That's the
that's
one.
pretty cool. So the first big bot I ever had had the pleasure to get was the G1 Metroplex. And it was
Oh yes.
completely by accident. I wasn't expecting it. I was like every other little 12-year-old in the store. It was in Sky City in North Augusta. The building's still there, but Sky City is no more. But at the time, Sky City was a chain. We didn't even have Walmart in our area. So Sky City and Roses were the two big department stores. Roses is where I ended up with Thrust at, but we go to Sky City one day, and of course I run straight to the toy aisle, and I see Metroplex there. Now Metroplex is in a fairly large box, right? And I picked it up, and I'm looking at everything, but I pick it up, and I'm toting this around the store just like every other kid does now, just,
Oh yeah.
oh, the whole time my mom's telling me, you're not getting that. You're not getting that. I know, Mom, I'm just reading the back of it, or I'm just looking at the box, or I'm just holding it, right?
Yeah.
And so we do all of our shopping or whatever, and I'm still holding this thing. We get up to the cash register because no kid puts anything down until everything is checked out, and then you just lay it down in the, you know, gum shelf or whatever, all
Right.
dejected.
Right.
But I'm holding this thing or whatever. We get halfway through checking out. My mom looks at me, kind of like rolls her eyes. She's like, "Go ahead and get it." I'm like, "What? Holy crap!" Yeah, and boy, I threw that sucker on there, and that's how I ended up with Metroplex. And I think at
Oh
the
yeah,
time he
man.
cost 20. I think it was $28 for him. And we grew up poor, so I mean $28, that was a lot of money. I mean, that's like buying a $60 liter class today,
Right.
back then. But yeah, she's like, "Go ahead and get it." Dude, I took that thing home, transformed it. I actually slept with the thing. It turned into my teddy bear almost. I mean, I didn't when I left the house, Metroplex went with me. When I went to church, Metroplex was in the car. I mean, I didn't go anywhere without Metroplex, and it
Yeah, dude.
was so awesome.
Dude, that is awesome. Hey man, that's always the best is when you get the surprises. I used to kind of do the same thing. Like I'd be hanging with I'd be like staying at my grandparents or something, like like every summer I'd stay over at their place for like a week. I mean, we all lived in town, but it was just, I wasn't at home with my parents, right? So hanging out with my grandparents, man, dude, I would always be sitting there and I'd be like, "Oh," dude, I swear, I guilted my grandparents into buying me probably the vast majority of all the bots, the Transformers that I actually owned. That now
Yeah.
my son has, as I have passed them down to him. But still, yeah, I guilted them into multiple purchases. Oh yes,
Oh yeah.
yep.
So Avatar just commented, "Do you remember how much Thrust was back in the day?" And I
Ooh,
actually do because I have that original Thrust still in the box with all of his accessories, still with the price tag from Roses on it. It was $12.94 for Thrust. Still has the price on it and everything, and it's sitting right back here in a box somewhere. I've still got it after all these years.
that is
So
crazy,
yeah, yeah,
dude.
12 bucks, almost $13 for it. So, and the crazy thing is Megatron was right beside Thrust, and I didn't
Aha.
pick up Megatron. I picked up Thrust.
I
So
mean, Megatron was always cool. I like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Megatron, like but like, it, something about a vehicle, a jet, something like
Yep.
I don't know, man. Something that appealed to me more. You know what I'm saying? Like, like even though Metroplex is essentially like a city, he had wheels on him, dude. If you
Yep.
wanted to, he could stick his legs out like he's sitting there ready to do some yoga, and then just and roll him around, dude. Yeah, did his hey, did, yeah. I love that stuff, man.
Oh
But
yeah.
nowadays as I got older, I appreciated the thing, the different bots more. Like I had is it what is the Triceratops or the Triceratops
Triptychon.
Dinobot?
Triptychon.
No, not Trypticon. The Triceratops. The Dinobot. The
Oh,
is
snarl,
it
snarl, or slug, or somebody.
Slug? I think, right?
Yeah, it's one of those.
Yeah, yeah. I ended up with him, and at first, I remember when I got him as a kid, I was just like, "Oh man, this? What is this guy, dude?" But the more I messed around with them, the more I ended up falling in love with them. But I never had any other Dinobots, man. I never had
Yeah.
I I always I just that was kind of like my how all of my toys were back in the days. I never had a pair of anything like I would. The only thing actually I could say, the only thing I actually had a pair of, like as far as like a good versus bad, um, was I had a Skeletor, battle damage Skeletor, and a battle damage He-Man.
Yep.
But that was it. Everything else I would had I had well, I didn't even have an Optimus Prime, to come to think of it, but I had like Psykill, but I didn't have Leader One. I had the lead bad guy from the Mask series with that had the jet that would turn into the helicopter.
Yeah, and
Venom.
see, I completely missed the entire MASH series. I never
Oh
owned
man,
any of them.
yeah. I only ever had the only ones I ever had. They were all bad guys. I didn't have a single good guy, and so then come GI Joe. GI Joe. I
Yep.
had I had I had the second generation after the Cobra Commander after the movie, and he got that second suit that had like the silver helmet and
Yeah.
the silver helmet and stuff. I'm just sitting there talking with my hands, dude. I'm knocking everything over. Uh, but 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 yeah, man. I never had Duke. I never had any of like the major leaders for like judges. So that's how it was when I was a kid. I never had like the two lead guys, the lead bad guy and the lead good guy, in order to have like the ultimate battle. I never had
Yeah.
that. It was so annoying. So then I'd have like a Cobra Commander fighting like my one Rambo figure that I had. It's just like, what am I doing, man? It's just like the size difference
That's
was way
funny.
off. It didn't make any sense. Like I had to act like Cobra Commander was like some superpowers, and the big dude was just like some complete wuss. Like, but
That's
that's where
crazy.
imagination comes in, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yep, yep.
Oh, great day. All right. Well, I don't have a whole lot else to talk about, and my head is spinning for whatever reason. So I'm about to shut this this video down so I can go keep my head from spinning.
You do it, man. You go get some sleep, man. It's hella late for you, bro.
Definitely, I'm even having a hard time talking now. So anyway, Chris, great talking to you, man. Had fun. Avatar,
Yeah, man.
Carlos, DLR. I appreciate you guys chiming in on the comments. We'll
Good talk
definitely
with you,
do this
fellas.
again.
Yeah.
I've got nothing to do for tomorrow, so we'll probably have a couple more lives, maybe some YouTube comments or YouTube content. for tomorrow to put up there. But yeah, I've got to get out of this room because I'm boiling hot right now. So I appreciate you guys staying up late for me. And yeah, we'll catch you in the morning. So you guys get some sleep, and we'll see you next time around.
There you go.
Appreciate it, Chris.